Toasty, first point of the new season. Your thoughts on the game?
Frustrating, really. Well, credit to both teams because that heat is absolutely ridiculous. Pitch was difficult, just long and dry, and I felt that the opposition started a lot better than us and had a real flurry for 20 minutes, and we let in a real poor goal for our standards, one that if you watched an under-11 game you'd be fuming about. However, our character after the goal, and I think right way through to the end of the game, was a bigger grip hold of the game, and a good sparring match between, I thought, two teams, which I think that was the right result in the end.
Yeah. Before I get on to sort of the reaction to the goal, talk me through the set piece and the goal that you conceded, and maybe sort of the lessons that you've learned and how you want to improve your team from that. Because as you said, it was quite a frustrating goal to concede. How do you see that being addressed?
Stop things at source. So we talk a lot about their zones on a pitch where you're not going to pick up yellow cards, and the dark art zones, and where you can foul as much as you want and you're not going to get a yellow, and if you give a free kick away in them zones, the opposition can't really hurt you from there. And I felt we missed 3 opportunities to do that at the time, and the guys, been able to run into an area what hurt us, and then we've given a poor free kick away, and then the marking from the set piece. Like I said, if you watched that on an under-11 game, you'd be disappointed. So I feel like we almost give them a goal, and then on a day like this, on a pitch like that, you're then chasing. But a good reaction to the goal.
Yeah, talk to me about the reaction then, because Valtteri he did it against Wroxham in the FA Cup, scored from behind the halfway line. This one was a little bit closer. Talk to me about that reaction, how important that was to playing in this game, because as you said, the heat is such a controlling factor of how the teams are sort of performing. That reaction must have really sort of impressed you.
I think it was similar to the Wroxham game after when they scored the free kick at Wroxham. They had that little flurry for 10 minutes on the ball. We couldn't get people high enough to press the ball. I felt like we then, in this game again, got a little bit higher, got a little bit more pressure on the ball, and then the game turned in our favour, and we then were winning throw-ins higher, and then our goal come from a throw-in where we played football, didn't get no one tracked our little movements, and then ball's just dropped, and he's wrapped it in the near post, and it's another great goal, but don't underestimate that comes from everyone else doing the right things at the right time. So I just felt that we started really, really poorly on the back foot, played ourselves into trouble with a lot of free kicks and a lot of backward passes, and then very, like I said, very, 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 very happy with the reaction. And I felt that the second half was more about us trying to break them down for the winner, and then at the end we might have sent a few people forward to win it, and they did have a good counter attack where I think they were just offside. But they looked dangerous on the break, but that was because I hate drawing. It does my nut in. We tried to chuck the bowl at them at the end.
Yeah, so before we look forward to Tuesday and then Saturday, tell me a bit about the new striker, Tomaz. He's on a dual registration, isn't he? Tell me a bit about him, what to expect today. I thought he was pretty good, he sort of held the ball quite well, but just tell me a bit about him.
Yeah, he's had professional experience in Poland. He's been at Hanwell Town, who'd been promoted out of this step, and he was like a rotational striker. I think he ended up scoring like 16 or so in all competitions, and he's familiar with the lads. A lot of the lads know him. He's at a good age, 24, 25, and a well-rounded centre forward. So he's good at holding it. He's good at running in behind. He works his socks off for the team, and you could see today that and that is my fault because I've thrown him straight in. And the boys don't really know his movements at the minute, and you could see there was times where, and it goes back to this, we're not really trained a lot. Like we're getting in a lot of good moments where we can break, and just the connectivity of people at the minute because we just don't really know each other that well. But that'll come. I'm more pleased with the character at the minute. Like hot day, could have capitulated, showing good spirit, and we're coming off disappointed to draw. That's the right attitude to have.
Yeah, he did look pretty decent to me today. So Tuesday, long old trip away from home against Shepshed. How are you sort of feeling about that? Conditions, it should be a bit cooler, I think. So do you see this as more of a chance to sort of keep the ball on the ground and play narrow away from home. The pressure is, I think, completely off us. So do you see that as a chance to sort of go and just cause an upset, really?
Yeah, you said about playing it on the ground. I feel like today we have got to learn the balance between when to play it on the ground and when to stretch the game. And, not rotation, but like people running away and people slightly falling into wider areas so they can release themselves to play forwards, and just little things. It just comes, like what I said, come back to training and little details really about knowing each other. But credit to the opposition, you can see why they've had a good run. They're no mugs. They're going to do, they're going to pick up points. They're spirited. Another thing that I felt that we didn't do at times, I felt that they kept their back four in a lot, which you would do away from home, and sometimes we were like 3 versus their 4, and sometimes we tried to be a bit too direct and not move them around in that position. And just again, it goes back to teething problems that you naturally, this should be a pre-season learning curve, but we know the situation. It's not an excuse. We've just got to, keep learning really, really quick about one another.